Hi, I'm Dr. Danso and welcome back to the Clinic Diaries. Today I'm super excited to be joined by Mercy. Now, I first saw Mercy on BBC Stories and I thought I need to have her on the Clinic Diaries. I thought she had a great personality and I thought she was a great advocate. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
If you don't know that people living with HIV can share drinks, kiss, share toilets, then you should watch this. I'm Mercy, I'm 20, and I was born with HIV. HIV is always portrayed negatively, and I'm bored of that.
Hello. I'm Mercy. I'm a HIV activist, and I did a documentary with BBC, and then obviously you reached out to me and asked if I'd want to be on the show, and obviously I said yes.
Obviously. Yeah, so I mean, what I loved about you on BBC Stories was that you just busted myths and just put it out there as it was. And I thought, yes, this is exactly what we need because it is in some communities a taboo subject. Mm-hmm. So I thought we kind of should go through some of those myths and kind of perhaps some anecdotes of what's happened to you. Mm-hmm. Like I heard some ridiculous things that were said on BBC Stories that you have had people ask and say. So I thought we kind of should go through a couple of those things.
Yeah, where to begin? I guess, like one of my aims was definitely to make the BBC Stories piece something that was fun and engaging, but something that also said, made it very clear if this is what HIV means here and now today. Especially because when I am speaking to younger people that have perhaps just found out, people that are as young as 10, and they're like dealing with all these myths, and it's like, no, just we need to get rid of them. Common ones are things like, what's your prognosis? And I mean, I understand it in the context of everything that happened back in the day, but HIV isn't a death sentence, and
Definitely not.
So keen in trying to say it's not about that. I think one of the things I said in the BBC piece was it's not about death, it's about life and just about living your life and carrying on and picking yourself up and everyone goes through something in life, and this just happens to be what I'm going through.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is that there aren't people like you, which I can understand, that are able to talk about what happens and how they feel. So when people do receive this diagnosis, they can often feel quite alone.
Isolated,
Yeah, and again, that's why I think it's great. So have people sort of reached out to you to kind of say, oh my gosh, I completely relate to some of the things that you said?
Yeah, so one of the things, so I obviously have a Twitter, blah, blah, blah.
What's your Twitter?
I think it's just Mercy Shabem. This is so bad, I should know my Twitter. But it'll be somewhere on the screen.
Yeah.
But I remember tweeting when I got engaged, and sorry, so emotional actually, because I had so many people reach out to me that were like, oh, I'm so happy for you, I'm living with HIV and I've never seen this as a reality for me. And it's just little moments like that where it's for me and my husband, it's just such a non-conversation almost. It's just I'm taking my medicine, great, cool, we're just living life. But so many people are still in that place where it's still such a hard thing to tell your partner, figure out how you're going to do it, think about everything that society says and figuring out how much they would know and that kind of stuff. It's really difficult, but I love when people do get in touch with me when I have maybe written a blog or done a video and say, thank you so much, it's just helped me in this. It just encourages me to speak out more and remember that just because HIV is kind of just another thing for me, that doesn't mean that it is like that for everybody else now. And really trying to remember when it was this big thing when I couldn't talk about it.
Because I think also it wasn't that long ago it wasn't that long ago when people didn't know what it was, didn't actually know how to treat it. So I guess that things have actually moved fairly quickly.
Very quickly.
And people are still kind of still back there.
Back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. So you are married now,
I am.
I think one of the things I thought was great is that you are literally living your best life. Better than mine. But do you know what I mean? You are just going with it, and I think that's a really great attitude. The other thing I have been asked, even in my clinic, are things like having children and the risks. I think people don't realise that it can happen, it's normal, and there is no risk at times of passing on. And I'm talking for you. But do you want to tell me a bit more about that and what you know?
So and that's one of the questions actually that was on the piece. But yeah, people often ask that, oh, but like, won't your children get it, and won't your husband get it, and that kind of thing. But currently the big kind of campaign, I guess, is U equals U, which means undetectable means untransmittable. And so because my viral load is undetectable, I can't transmit the virus. And it seems like such a big thing, but I think I've been glad to grow up. So I have a sister, and my sister's HIV negative, and she's 17 going on 18.
Yeah.
And so I've always lived with the reality of kids are possible, because she's grown up alongside me, and I've seen that. But I think it's just such an important message to get out there, and I think it's always interesting when people say things like that, because I wonder, I just wonder like where's that coming from? Yeah, where that's coming from.
I just think it's lack of information. But the thing is, if you actually look for it, it's actually there.
Available.
So I don't. You're right. I don't really know where it comes from, but I think it's not something people talk about because they're so focused on living their own best lives that it's not really a priority to inform others. And I think it's a condition that people have kind of kept to themselves and do feel isolated.
Yeah. It's interesting though. So I was with someone recently, like getting my makeup done or whatever.
As you do.
I was talking to that. I think I was chatting about me, and so obviously I said I'm a HIV activist, blah blah blah. And then like later on in the conversation, I mentioned my parents. Just like I don't even know. I would have just said like, oh, my parents, nothing to do with HIV, and they were like, oh my gosh, like you're not adopted, like your parents are still alive, and I was literally like, no. And like it's just things like that that just remind me of how little people do know sometimes. Because I literally, when they were like, oh, your parents are still alive, I was like what? I was so confused, and then it clicked when they were like, oh, but you've got HIV, and I was like, what does it mean? Like, it's a reality for so many people. I'm not trying to undermine that at all.
Yeah.
But like, people living with HIV can be healthy if they have access to medicine and are able to live with everything that they need to.
And I think what you said is access to medicine and being treated. I think that's really important. You have to. I think for some people having that diagnosis, they can go into a state of denial, which I can understand. But knowing that you can live a very healthy, normal life, provided that you have treatment and adhere to your treatment, is such an important message. Because as you said, it is not a death sentence at all. And I have patients that are having very normal lives, they have very normal jobs and are functioning very well. So it's one of those things that if you take your medication and you follow doctor's advice, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So basically, I wanted to go through some myths.
Okay.
So that you can bust them. So myth number 1, alternative medicines and therapies can cure HIV.
No, they can't. We know that HIV is treated very well with antiretrovirals, and I would very strongly encourage people to stick to what their doctor has prescribed them. Also, when it does come to medicine, if you are living with HIV and you're watching this and you're not happy with your medicines and you've got some side effects, you have a right to speak to your doctor about that and request to see if any changes can be made, or if you're able to take anything additional that would counteract those side effects. So please don't suffer in silence and think that you have to have diarrhea for the rest of your life, because that's just how it is. You don't.
Yeah, and I think ultimately that's just it. You have to have the confidence, and this is true of any condition, to be able to say, look, I'm not managing, and is it supposed to be like this? Because the truth of the matter is there's always alternatives. There's always a way around things, and if you don't let the doctor know, then it's very difficult for us to help you. Myth number 2, I'm undetectable and can't pass on HIV. Does this mean I'm cured?
No. So being undetectable is about you taking your treatment, and because you adhere to your treatment stops the replication of HIV in your body, so there are lower levels of it in your blood, which is why you're undetectable. For you to be cured, you would obviously not be taking medication and any of that stuff. There's a lot of exciting research happening around different ways to take medicine. So if it's a problem that you take medicine every day, then I'm not saying that they're coming out tomorrow, but there is some exciting stuff in the pipeline that would maybe alter that. But the cure isn't probably going to happen anytime soon. Sorry.
Okay. Having no symptoms means that you're cured of HIV.
Having no symptoms does not mean you're cured. It probably just means your medicine's working well because your immune system isn't being attacked every day. And yeah, you're still prone to get illnesses like everybody else. Yeah. Also, winter's coming, so get your flu jab.
Yes, get your flu jab.
Thing.
You can book in with either your GP or your nurse, and even better, you can get the flu jab at some local pharmacy. Having sex with a virgin will cleanse HIV. I have actually heard that before.
Really?
Yeah, I have actually. In some communities, people have been raped because there is a belief that having sex with a virgin will remove or cleanse HIV.
Yeah,
that's
not true.
Can we talk a little bit about transmission?
Yeah.
How can HIV be transmitted?
Okay, so HIV can be transmitted via bodily fluids, basically. So blood, semen.
Yeah.
Not saliva. You'd literally have to drink an Olympic-sized swimming pool of someone with HIV spit, and then even then it wouldn't be a big chance. And if you're doing that, you should consult someone anyway. Yeah, so blood, semen, and I'm pretty sure vaginal fluids. I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are kind of the main ways that you can, and you can't get it through kissing. No, because a lot of people ask that question.
And also mother to baby transmission, if the mother is not adequately treated at times. Should we talk a bit about what you're doing?
So yeah, I'm co-chair of a charity called the Sophia Forum that looks to support women living with HIV or at risk of living with HIV, and we do a bunch of cool stuff basically. So check us out, donate, and the link will be somewhere here.
So
I don't do
reach
YouTube,
out.
so
I'm sorry.
It's just somewhere here.
Yeah. So I think if you're really interested in working with Mercy, please either contact her directly, and her information is here, or you can send me a message too, and I can contact.
She's my agent now, so just go
basically. So let me know. Thank you for coming.
Worries.
I really appreciate you taking the time out and speaking so openly and candidly about HIV, and I hope all goes well with all your activism.
Thanks.
Is that a word? I have no idea.
It is a word.
Thank you very much. For more information, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter at The Clinic Diaries.